been talking about the DreamWorks movies that were inspired by books, a topic many people are very new to. Of course, it's no secret that Shrek was based on a book, but most seem pretty unaware about the existence of Over the Hedge or Boss Baby's books. So today, we're going to cover another one of these seemingly obscure source materials, Home. Home released back in 2015, and its critical and audience reception is about as mixed as it can get. Even DreamWork seems a bit iffy about the film, as it was supposed to release in 2014. But they feared the competition it'd have releasing near Penguins of Madagascar, so it was pushed back a year, although even that's not quite right. DreamWorks had actually purchased the film rights for the film back in 2008. Despite their eagerness to purchase the rights to a book that only just released, they let it sit until they had to renew their rights in 2011. It was only then that they begun making the movie. So it seemed like not even DreamWorks valued the movie that highly. Despite the reception on paper, I've actually never met somebody who didn't like this movie. Not that they don't exist, mind you. It's just weird to see this sort of mixed reaction, but hey, everyone you know who's ever talked about the film only had good things to say about it. And personally, I was never a huge fan of the film, but I can see why people enjoy it. The film follows the events of an alien race that has relocated all of human life and has turned Earth into their new home. One of the aliens, had accidentally revealed their new location to the very alien race that's hunting them down. And so, with the help of an Earthling girl who is on a quest to find her mom, O goes to fix what he has done and save both his race and the Earthlings. It's a sweet movie that can be really funny at times. Also, they probably picked the best voice actors they could have for this film. Jim Parsons as O, Rihanna as Tip. It just works perfectly as the main leads. Even if the very heavy Rihanna soundtrack is very on the nose. But I digress. I think the movie does a lot of things very well, but it's never been my cup of tea. The book, on the other hand, is a very different story, kind of. Normally I would mean that in a very literal sense and transition over to how the book is nothing like the movie. But unlike Over the Hedge or Boss Baby, which were just based on the very thin concept, Home is actually more of a loose adaptation. The original book by Adam Rex is titled The True Meaning of Smekday, and the general plot is about the same as the movie too. You have an alien race moving to Earth and relocating all of the humans. A little girl who's trying to find her mom teams up with an alien fugitive, and the two end up having to stop the arrival of an alien race who's been hunting them down. What separates the two versions, however, is how they're adapted. One of the main differences is the point of view. The movie follows the life of O, showing his arrival to Earth, how he messed up, and his adventures to fix everything. The book, on the other hand, is actually from Tip's point of view. The book is written like it's a school project, where she details the crazy events of her summer vacation. I actually really like this difference, and it's interesting how both versions focus on different points of view between the two main leads. I should also point out that O's name is actually changed from the book as well. In the book, his name is actually J-Lo, a nickname of Jennifer Lawrence, who actually plays Tip's mother in the film. She was actually cool with the alien being named after her, but due to existing copyright restrictions, his name still had to be changed regardless. Among the differences I'd like to mention is that the movie actually has very similar writing to the book. I'm not just talking about its story, but even more so its dialogue. Honestly, after watching the movie, it's hard to read O's lines without hearing Jim Parsons speaking them. It's uncanny just how faithful the movie nailed this aspect of the story. But now, it's time to address the elephant in the room. If you're like me, then seeing the artwork for the book will definitely catch you off guard the first time you see it. It's a really weird situation, as the book and movie actually have near identical character designs. What separates them apart, though, is the art style. The movie is very cartoony, lacking any unnecessary details, while the book aims for a more realistic art style. Because of that, the aliens could come off as super creepy at first glance, but I feel like that was intentional. You start off being creeped out by these invading aliens you know nothing about, but as you read on, you learn more about them and eventually find them oddly charming. As the book series went on, the art started toning down the added details slightly, which I think was a very good decision. I prefer this middle ground art style compared to one of the other two extremes, although I don't think the creator minded the more cartoonish style, as later releases of the book features a cover using the DreamWorks version of the characters. One last thing I'd like to touch on is the story. While I did say it was identical to the movie, there are still some changes in its execution. I won't spoil anything big, but a lot of aspects of the book had been cut out for the movie itself, which was to be expected. After all, it is a feature-length film adaptation of nearly a 500-page novel. So a lot of side characters had to be cut. A lot of story beats were either cut or altered. Some of the changes were made for weird reasons. Like in the movie, all of humanity is relocated to Australia. But in the book, they were all put in Florida, which I think is pretty funny. The movie also kind of ignores the more mature themes of the book. And I don't think I need to explain the kinds of themes being explored by having a group of invaders relocating existing residents of an area and then taking that area for themselves. It's really not that subtle, but I don't think it was entirely worth removing. But the movie wanted to focus on just a simple road trip comedy with aliens. It seemed to work fine for many. Also, I won't go too deep into this, but it's also worth mentioning that a sequel to the book was released a year prior to the movie. Although, without the delay, it would have been released in the same year, but I don't think that was coincidental. The Boss Baby did the same thing, a sequel released just a year prior to the movie releasing. And this definitely has to be some synergy thing. Not that it'd be a bad thing if it was, but it's just interesting that this happened more than once. So, as far as the original book, I couldn't recommend it enough, especially if you love the movie. And if you weren't a big fan of it like me, I think the book might change your mind. It's just more fleshed out and improved than the movie itself. I think that's all I have to say on that topic. If you'd like to see more videos like this, where I discuss the source material of some animated films, then be sure to let me know in the comments. Also, subscribing would really help support the content we make. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.